Sales coach and motivational speaker Ron Garverick has made the journey from poverty to wealth in his own life, and his passion is to help you in your success journey as well. His methods are proven because he lives them daily, and you can too. Introducing Ron Garverick.
Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. I am your host, Ron Garverick. I want to thank you once again for tuning in to the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. I hope you're checking it out on Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon. I mean, you can go to your Alexa and go, Alexa, play the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast, and she'll play it for you. I guarantee it. Try it if you have an Alexa. And also, don't forget to tune in to the Manager TO podcast. I've got hundreds of TOs, overcoming objections, on the Manager TO podcast. And I got a special guest today, and it is brought to you by Dealer Elite, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up now and engage with the best and brightest in the industry. And also, Street Volkswagen of Amarillo. They are trying to electrify Amarillo as well as the world with the new Volkswagen ID4. If you haven't checked those out, it's really interesting to see. They go about 315 miles before you got to charge it up. And I believe when you charge it up for 10 minutes, it gives you 60 miles. You got to check it out, the all-new ID4. And don't forget, Garv Automotive, BDC, Finance, Sales, and Management Training. Go to www.garvautomotive.com. That's G-A-R, V as in Victor, E-R-I-C-K, automotive.com, and check out what I have to offer in all kinds of training. That's sales training. That's BDC, Finance, and Management Managers. I can also train you and make you even better. Don't forget, Garv Automotive, G-A-R-V as in Victor, automotive.com.
Discover your daily deal at the dating site for automobiles, streetvw.com. Here's General Manager John Luciano.
You can save thousands on this showstopper, the revved up Volkswagen Atlas Crossport, or get ultra low monthly payments on all new and used vehicles, like on the Volkswagen Atlas. And remember, many Volkswagen vehicles are famous for outstanding fuel economy.
And meet the Volkswagen ID4. This affordable electric SUV is going to change everything. Hurry and discover your daily deal now at streetvw.com. Street Volkswagen of Amarillo, 5000 South Sonsi.
Welcome back. Yes, our sponsors, elite sponsors, exclusive sponsors, whatever you want to call it. We have Dealer Elite, Street Volkswagen of Amarillo, and Garv Automotive Sales Training. Guys, you know, I've done plenty of interviews throughout the years or couple of years, and I've always been asked, hey, why don't you put a woman on, or a lady, or a saleswoman? And, you know, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, you're right, but I got to find that one. I got to find that one special person that has the enthusiasm and the will and the knowledge and is willing to help other people. And so some of y'all know that I went out and on Facebook and social media and said, "Hey, I'm looking for people to interview. I want somebody that I believe that will change the automotive industry." Okay. And I've had a few ladies that sent me messages and said, "Hey, I believe I have a interesting story." And one individual, I checked back with her and I said, "Hey, I think it's your time to shine." And she was excited. She was a little nervous. And I said, "But I need to know more about you. Send me a bio. I want to know something about you." Okay. And my guest for this episode is Jill Lara. Okay. Been selling cars for 3 years at Dyer and Associates. She sells Mercedes Benz and Volvo in Columbia, South Carolina, and that place holds a special place in my heart because I was stationed in Fort Jackson when I was in the Army way back in the day. It was the early 2000s, and plenty of things and thoughts ran through my head when I was there because I was 25 years old. I had a newborn daughter, and I decided, hey, I wanted to better my life and whatnot. But I went through the time that I was like, man, I don't know if I really want to do this. So I tried to find many ways to get out of basic training and find my way back home to my daughter. So Columbia, South Carolina, I mean, you hold dear to my heart because you made me a different person. But it's not about me. It's about Jill. Jill has 4 boys, and they age between 19 and 24. She's originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. Another place that holds dear to my heart is Franklin, Pennsylvania. But that's another time. Jill makes boring people feel fun. Okay. She makes bad jokes seem funny. Jill can convince your chronically dissatisfied mother-in-law that she needs the safest Volvo XC60. Not only that she needs to buy it, but she needs to take the car home today, feeling that it may be the best thing for her. And with that sentiment that she is the most important person in the world. And of course, she will then send weekly invites to have Jill visit with her and talk about cars, dogs, and over a glass of wine. Jill takes care of customers, and she loves the product she sells. She, without knowledge of it and the slightest hint of effort, uses every sales technique to influence customers not only to buy their cars, but to remember the name of Jill Lara. She makes lazy people interesting, enemies friends, and outcasts feel appreciated. As it seems slightly offensive to call people out on these things, we can personally attest them to be true as a person whose character at times reflects of all the traits. Now, I know other people feel the same way, but the big-time service manager and her favorite salesman found her at a retail position years ago and would not leave Jill alone until she agreed to work there. She has the energy to make herself unique. She stands out because she simply does not allow to have a bad day. She does not let work go undone, and she does not let a good car stay on the lot. Now, Jill empowers sales managers. She empowers owners, other dealers, outside people looking for insight. She makes other people want to be successful. See, I told you it was interesting. She holds a place up by lifting a perfectly painted gel polished pinky. And everyone here at that dealership knows it but her. Now, Jill loves everything and everyone, but she adores selling cars. Now, don't be fooled by her pathetic biography. See, I told you I wanted a bio. But it would take a book to clearly explain the power of this woman. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot wait for you to be introduced to the one and only Jill Lara.
How are you?
I'm good.
How are
And yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
So that man, when I read that, I was like, God, and that it gave me more energy to go, you know what? I need to talk to this lady. She has so much power at her dealership that everybody from customers to the people you work with to upper management, they love you. So what got you into the automotive space again?
So I was a stay-at-home mom for a very long time. And I took a job at Best Buy. And the Best Buy that I worked at was near our dealership. And I struck up a friendship with the service director. His name is John Madison. He would come in and we'd always crack jokes and stuff. And I'd always, try to sell him something. He's like, I think you'd be really good in selling cars. Would you come up and talk to us about a job? And I told him no. I said, I'm not interested. I said, it's a man's world. It's just, I'm not interested. He goes, I think you'd be really good, but just think about it. And so our Best Buy that he would come to closed. And so I got transferred to another Best Buy on the other side of town. And I was at work one day and another sales manager, his name is Bob Cullum, came into the store and I helped him buy a Fitbit. And he left. And that afternoon, I got this phone call that I needed to call him. So I called him back and I said, is everything okay? Something wrong with the Fitbit? And he goes, no, he goes, everything's fine. He goes, I'd like to talk to you about a job. He goes, I think you'd be really good at selling cars. I work for Dick Dyer and Associates. And I was like, there's no way. This has got to be a joke. So I was like, I said, I'm good. I said, I go, it's a man's world. I said, and I'm just not ready. And I'm just not interested. And he goes, you're wrong. He goes, and I think you'd be really good. Will you just come out and hear what we have to say? So I was like, oh, well, I don't know. Okay. So I did. So I went home and I said to my kids, I said, you're never going to believe this. And so I told them the story and they're like, Mom, you've got to go and talk to them. So I was like, okay. So I went out and I talked to Bob and, got to, walk around and see some things and everything like that. And he said, would you come back? I'd like to introduce you to the owner of the company. And I said, okay, well, we'll see. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So I left and I went home and decided, I'm going to start looking. I pulled up their website and started reading about some of the people that have been there. And I mean, we have salespeople that have been there for 27 years. There's no turnover rate at our dealership. So I was like, this really might be something. So I went to work the next day and I'm just doing my normal job. And I turn around and Hunt Dyer, the owner of the dealership, is at Best Buy. And I was like, there is no way this is happening. So I finished with my customer. He comes up to me and he goes, you're Jill. He goes, you are Jill Lara, aren't you? And I said, I am. He goes, I knew it was you. He goes, I've heard so much about you. He goes, I want you on my team. He goes, I'll do whatever it takes. He goes, but I want you on my team. And I told him, I said, it's a lot of hours. And he goes, yes. He goes, the hours are long. I said, well, I still have a son. He plays lacrosse. He goes, family comes first at our dealership. He goes, you take off whenever you need to. He goes, I just want you to be part of our team. So I went home and I said something to my kids. I said, guys, I really think this is a life changer. I said, this is something that's going to change. I said, I think I'm going to take this job. And I have 4 boys and they were like, Mom, you've got to do it. You selling cars. You've got to sell cars. It's the coolest thing. So I accepted the offer and I've been there for 3 years. I'll be there for 3 years in May. And
Wow.
Absolutely no regrets. No regrets. I wish that I would have done it sooner, but I didn't. But it's okay.
Well, the good thing about the perception that selling cars is for men only. You got the sleazy old men that are supposed to be selling cars and they're trying to be shady, and I'll show a picture here what I'm talking about. This is your typical car salesman that people in the 80s and 90s, maybe 70s was stereotyping people in the car business. But now, those people back in those days, that's before they had MSRP on the cars. So you would just sell the car as much as you wanted, okay? And
Yep.
these people, they were sleazy. And back in the early 90s, my father only had one car salesman he would only deal with. And he was straightforward. You tell me what you can do, and if I thought it was a fair deal, not a good deal, a fair deal, because he still wanted his salesman to make money, then I'll think about buying the vehicle. But it's that stereotypic vision when you think about a car salesman. That's what you think of, and then when you think about women, you think that they need to stay at home and take care of their kids, and when you think about a car salesman that sees a man and a woman come in and buy a car, you would talk to the man because the woman would not have the decision to make, or you would think they wouldn't have any knowledge about the car. And we've all seen the honey badger when he's talking to the wife or the lady, and he's like, "Dad, right there's where you do your makeup, and that's the steering wheel." But nowadays, you have female sales people, sales ambassadors, that product specialists, that when a man or a woman walks into a dealership, they already have that perception that they're going to be taken advantage of. They already have that negative thought in their head, the bad taste in their mouth, and they walk through the door and they're thrown back by seeing a female saleswoman. They look at you and they're like, "Miss, can you find me a salesman? I need to look at a car." And you're like, "I'm a salesman." And they're, "Oh, I thought you were a receptionist. I'm sorry." And you're like, No, I can help you out." But it's that perception that throw people back now, that women actually want to sell cars, and they're really good at it. I know, because my biggest competition when I sold cars was a woman at another dealership 60 miles away. We sold the same product, Fords. "Ron, we like
wow.
you. We like what you have. You're giving me a good deal, but we'd rather buy a car from Haley because she's a lot prettier than you." And I'm like, "I'm giving you more money off on the truck." "Yeah, but you're not as pretty as Haley is." And so I lost plenty of sales because Haley. But it to me, I believe and I'll be completely honest, I hate salesmen. I hate walking into Best Buy and people ask you if you need help. I hate walking into Walmart and someone going, "You finding everything all right?" I hate walking into a car dealership and someone going, "Hey, can I help you out?" No, I don't want your help. I don't. I hate salespeople with a purple passion, due to the fact they are salespeople. They are trying to sell you something, and I don't want to be sold. I don't like the Kirby people knocking on my door asking me if they could show me how their vacuum works, because I've done that too. No, because I know what you're doing. You get in here, you show me that you pick up bed bugs out of my bed, and then you're like, "Hey, and this vacuum cleaner right here is only $2,500, and we do financing." No, that's just a way for you to come into my house and sell me something. I text my wife and said, "Don't let them in." They came in. We bought a Kirby vacuum cleaner. I hate salesmen.
I did too. Don't worry. I did the same thing.
But when I see a female person, you feel a little bit like, okay, I know this lady. She's a mother, and you're doing the motherly thing, and you just feel more like she's a security blanket. So you can talk to her going, okay, she has no knowledge in her bone, in her nerves, in her body to rip me off. So I'm going to listen to her, and I'm going to hear what she has to say. And you sit down and you're like, "So tell me what kind of deal you can give me on this vehicle today, Jill." And then you just start talking, and it's like you just listen because you have that motherly touch. Now I don't know so much about younger females, but if I looked at you and I walked into a dealership and you're like, hey, you looking for a Volvo CX60 or whatever? I'm going, not really, but tell me about it. And then you start telling me about it. I'm like, you know what? I'll take 3 of those. It's just,
I'll take 3 of them.
it's just, I think females, ladies have more of a chance of selling than a man does. My general manager feels like, and he doesn't have any, but he did when I started. He had 2 female finance managers.
Oh, wow.
And he wanted to have 2 female finance managers, thinking that there's no reason anybody would say no about buying protection because he has 2 females in the finance department. He was wrong.
No, you're right.
He was wrong, but it was I think they could have, and I really do. It just, I think the priorities weren't there and the training wasn't there. So, but I would buy protection on my vehicle if there was a lady in the finance department, unlike I would if I was in a finance department with, let's say, a sales professional like me, because the way they talk, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's what I teach in my classes. That's what I teach in my training. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think the way like you would say it differently than I would and make it believable. Like, there's a reason you are presenting this product to me. There is a reason why you are talking to me about it, because you honestly do want me to feel protected.
I do.
And so I applaud every female that has decided to get into the automotive industry and sell cars, because it's not easy. It's long hours. Like you said, it's long hours. It is stressful. I had more hair and I had less gray before I got into the automotive industry. But I think that if more women would sit and say, you know what, I think I can do this, because now, the me movement or whatever it's called, that I believe a woman could do anything that a man can do, and maybe, knock on wood, better. Because if you can stand 9 months being pregnant and go through what y'all go through, I think, or I believe, that you can go through anything, right? So, and then with you, 4 times, that's 24 months or 36 months of going through all that. So hats off to you. But I think that if more women decide to get into the automotive industry, it can change the world for the good. Do you agree?
I do. I think, like I said to you, I think in the past, it's always just been such a man's world. And now you're getting a lot of females that are coming in by themselves. And I know a lot of my customers that when I approach them, they're like, do you sell cars? And I'm like, yes, I do. And they're like, oh, I'm so glad that you sell cars. It's so nice to see a female in here. And you can just see their whole body just relax. Like, okay. And, and then, how I do it is, we're there a lot. That we are there more than we're at our own home. And you have to make it fun. And, so when people, like some of the customers, when they walk in, I'll be like, I have been waiting for you all day. And they're like, you have? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you're here to buy your new car, right? And they're like, well, I guess we are, And I'm like, then I'll introduce myself. And then what I do is I have them come into my office. I'm like, come on, let's go down and we just talk. We just sit and what brings you in today? I do the interview in my office. I don't do it standing in the middle of the showroom floor. I make them, come into my office, and they're they're more than happy to do that. And we just talk. And I have some little things about myself, like obviously I'm from Pittsburgh, so I have, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, stuff like that. And so that all just sort of opens the doors, and
Right.
they can see around, they'll make a comment. They'll be like, "Oh, your office is so warm and inviting. I'm so glad that we got you." So, I mean, it's the start. Then we started. Then I showed them the car, and I even get a lot of guys that are like, "Man, you really know your cars." And I'm like, "Well," I said, "this is the second biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life. You come to me for that knowledge. I want you to, I want you to know that you're in good hands." And that's what I do.
You said it right there. It's the second most important purchase. You make them feel comfortable. You sit and talk to them. You're not right then doing the 7 steps to the sale: meet and greet, qualify, presentation, test drive, write up, close, delivery, follow up. You're taking them in. You're making a friend. You're asking about what their wants and needs are. You may ask about their family, stuff like that, but you make them feel warm and fuzzy inside. And then you get to, so that being said, are you looking to replace a vehicle, or are you looking for a second one? And who is this going to be the primary driver? Is it going to be the missus, or is it going to be you, sir? And then they start telling you, well, I was thinking about buying a second vehicle. She hates my truck. She can't get up in it, and she wants something a little bit more comfortable for her. And so then you just start, okay, well, lighter or darker colors. You're looking for leather. You're looking for cloth interior. What are the options that you really need in this vehicle? Do you need the navigation, or will the Apple CarPlay work for you? Do you need the sunroof so your hair can fly in the wind, or can you do without?
Yeah.
They just tell you, oh, no, we don't need that. Because I know when I was younger, I was like, man, I want a car, and I want a sunroof, and I want to look cool. And then when I got a sunroof, I never used it.
That is so funny, because today I had a customer, and obviously the inventory is the way that it is right now. It's very, very low. So it's, you're trying to convince people to buy something that it might not be their first choice. But so I had a customer today, and she was very sweet, and she was like, "I want a sunroof. I really want a sunroof." And the only car that we had of what she wanted had no sunroof. And I was like, why do you want a sunroof? I said, we live in 100-degree weather, why do you want it? She goes, oh, I've just always had a sunroof. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I said, let's just look at the car and see what you think of it. So how I do my test drive, when I go on a test drive, obviously I drive off the lot first to show them some of the features in it. And then we switch in a location, and then we go on a drive. And how I do my test drive, I'm like, I look at the customer. Are they comfortable? They look like they're driving the car so nervous, But when we turn around in a parking lot, and the very first thing I say, park the car now. And they're like, what? And I'm like, right. I said, you're going to take this car home, and I'm not going to be here, but I need you to pretend like we're at the grocery store. I want you to pull that cart. They're like, oh, okay. And then they do it, and they're like, it's not that good. I'm like, no, you get an idea of what it's like, because you're going to have to park the car without me in it. And they're like, wow, that's really fun. And then I'll be like, okay, let's make like a really fun turn. And they're like, wow, okay, stuff like that. You want them to mimic what they're going to do on a day without me in the car. And So we'll get back to the front of the test drive and they'll be like, that's really fun. I'm like, you looked really comfortable, and they're like, boy, that was a lot of fun. I mean, it's like you have to, it's a complete stranger sitting in the passenger side, but,
It is.
you need to make them feel like, I can do this. You know what I mean? So, something like that. But she ended up today, my customer walked out and she bought the car without the sunroof.
Wow.
And she texted me about 2 hours ago. She texted me, she goes, I don't know how to thank you for your kindness and your patience. And it was just a really cool feeling that I made a dream come true today. And she went from her first car in her early 20s, just graduating college, to a big girl car now. And she's like, I'm officially a big girl now. And I was like, you are. And I said, I'm really glad I was part of it. She goes, the experience, she goes, I get this a lot, and I don't know if you do too, but you get this a lot. I hate buying cars.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the process. I hate everything about it. And when they at the end say, thank you, this process was the best experience I've ever had, I know I don't even call it a job. I know that, I made somebody's day today. And that's what it's about. I don't feel like I have a job. I feel like I just do something I love. I love with who I work for. I love who I work with. And I've met some great new friends. And it's a super cool feeling.
When you know you're doing something right is when the customer says thank you at the end of the delivery. And when you see the tail lights and you're waving in the back goodbye and they're waving right back at you,
Yeah.
that's the warm feeling.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you're right.
the one thing that, when I was selling cars, I'd always get customers saying, now, I'm not the one to play games. You're going to give me your best your best price,
Yeah.
and we're not going to haggle. If I like it, I'll get it. If not, I'll walk out. I said, all right, let me ask you a question. Do you want the best price or do you want the haggling price? I want the best price. So if I go get the best price, we're not going to haggle because I don't have the energy. My knees are bad. I'm a Army vet. My knees are bad. I don't want to get up and walk back and forth to try to negotiate between you and the sales manager, because I'll just tell you right now, if I give you the best price, that's the best price. So I need to know what number you want to be at so I can get to you, see if I can get to that number. Well, I ain't giving you a number. You just go and give me one. So I come back out, I give them the best price, invoice minus rebates and every incentives they qualify for. And they go, nope, you're going to have to do better than that. I'm like, listen, you said you wanted the best price. I don't feel like getting up, walking to the sales tower and asking for him to negotiate when I already know I gave you every dollar that matters. So I learned off with these farmers and ranchers. I learned that they don't look at the internet. And this was 11 years ago. They don't look at the internet. So I told my GM, I said, listen, I'm tired of going back and forth with these guys. Just do MSRP and give me the rebates. And he was like, why? And I said, just give me the MSRP and give me the rebates, because I know they're going to try to talk me down $2,000. And I know between window sticker and the invoice, we're going to have $2,000 to play with. So we're going to be where we're going to be, but at least they're going to feel, go out there, present numbers. You're going to have to do better than that. Take $2,000 more off and I'll buy it right now. So if I can take $2,000 right off this number, you'll buy it right now. Yep. I'll sure buy it right now. I need your driver's license and insurance. I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can do that? I absolutely can. Go back to the sales tower and go ahead, submit it, because he's take $2,000 off. And GM looks at me and goes, you're a genius. I said, I'm just tired of playing games. This is the automotive industry. Selling cars is a game. It is a psychology game with you and the customer, due to the fact because generation after generation, they have been taught to negotiate. They want to feel like they won. They want to feel like they're getting a good deal. And if you already give them the good deal up front, they think there's still money on the table. And I don't know with Volvo or Mercedes, but I know there is not that much markup in Volkswagens. In Fords, there was a huge markup, but in Volkswagens, there is not. And right now,
it's the same.
Right now, there's no incentives in Volkswagens. There's no rebates. So we've been selling everything at window sticker because there's nothing to give but low interest rates. I mean, they're doing 2.9 right now for 72. And so, but it's funny, Jill. It's funny how then you had the rebates and customers still wanted to negotiate. But now, when there's no rebates, customers will take the vehicle at window sticker. Are they doing that over there at the Volvo store?
They are absolutely doing the exact same thing. There are no rebates and incentives, and the people are buying these cars at MSRP. And like I said to them, either like, well, we can't believe it. I'm like, well, Mercedes never really does rebates and incentives. Volvo does a little bit, but we are absolutely getting MSRP for our cars, and people aren't complaining about it.
Now, are you seeing sales increase now over then? Or do you think, or have you seen a decline in sales? And I mean, if you have the inventory, have you seen an increase in sales or decline because there's no incentive?
We've seen an increase. We have. I think one of the things about my brand is that when COVID all first started, I think everybody panicked a little bit because we didn't know what the heck was going to happen. I mean, you heard about it, and then it hit, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh!" So, and I think that the manufacturers were the same way. They were like, "What are we going to do?" So I know with Mercedes, and I think a lot of people came to the conclusion that they weren't guaranteed tomorrow. And one thing about a Mercedes, more than a Volvo, but a Mercedes, it is a car that somebody has worked their whole life for. It is somebody that, reached a 50th wedding anniversary, or reached 50 years of age, or retired. And their whole meaning was they were coming to buy a Mercedes. And I will tell you, Ron, it is the coolest feeling in the world when you know that you're part of a dream and it becomes a reality. And it's a cool feeling, but I think COVID showed a lot of people they weren't guaranteed tomorrow, and they weren't going to wait, and they were going to do it, and that's what they did. And I always tell them, I always say to my customers, when we finally got everything down, and I'm like, so, you can hear them, you can see them thinking, and I'm like, okay, so I need to ask you one final question. And they're like, okay, what is it? I'm like, are you saying yes to the car? And they're like, we're saying yes to the car. And I'm like, yay! I get super excited, and, it's an amazing industry. It's once it bites you and you get that first sale, and then you get your next one, this is an industry you get seriously attached to. And yes, we work a lot of hours, but wow, it's just so fun because every day it's different. It's not the same, every day it's different. And, and regarding the Volvo brand, I mean, I had a lady probably about 3 months ago, and I remember exactly what she said to me. She goes, my husband died, and my husband told me before he died, he wanted me in a Volvo. so that I would always be safe. And it's stuff like that. It's so much more than a job. It's just, it's a cool feeling.
When you're solving someone's problem or getting them what they want, it it brings a warm feeling inside that the customer knows that you really do care about them and that you're not worried about putting a little notch on the board or that you're worried about how much you're making off them. Because in the long run, if you treat them well, they're going to keep coming buying cars from you. They're going to keep sending friends and family to buy cars from you because of how you made them feel. You know, it's that feeling, that warm feeling that you did something good and you really didn't have to work hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, what I also do is I sort of went back old school, I guess, but I write them a handwritten thank you note. And Bob Collin taught me this. He goes, you want to write them a handwritten thank you note. When is the last time you got something good in the mail? So then I started thinking, I'm like, he's absolutely right. All we get is junk mail or bills. So I send a thank you note to every one of my customers, and they respond, thank you so much for that. I haven't got a handwritten thank you note. I don't even know when the last time I ever got one. And what else? Another thing I also do is in the gas tank of the car, what I do is I put a little label with my name and my phone number. So every time they put gas in their car, there's my name. So they're always going to see my name down there. And I write a little handwritten note just about their experience, and I put a little trinket in there. It's just of something meaningful. And there's not a customer that hasn't received it that they send me a text message and they're like, we can't believe this is my first tank of gas and this is what I open up to. They're like, thank you so much. And it's just little things like that that mean a lot to somebody, But I'll be honest with you, I love writing those notes because I'm just like, I can't wait to see what they think when they open up their gas tank and see this note, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, that's what I do. Another thing I do when it is time for service, I have them call me and or text me, and I make their service appointment. And that way I'm at least checking in on them once a year or every 10,000 miles. So they know that they're calling me. And so we stay connected that way too. And a lot of the customers really like that as well.
And it all goes back to they won't remember what you said. They won't remember what you did, but they'll always remember on how you made them feel. And that could be in a good way or a bad way. But if you make someone feel good, they will remember that. They may not remember what you said or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Because, I mean, you do remember that, I mean, I always remember, you always have, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly.
And it really is.
You have the first 7 seconds to make somebody like you.
You do. I mean, and it's, just be kind because you don't ever know what somebody's dealing with. Just be kind. I mean, I sell cars because a lot of people, some people say, I can't believe that you sell cars. How do you lay your head down at night? I'm like, well, I sell cars and I do lay my head down at night because I'm honest. I'm not going to do anything to you I wouldn't do to my own family member. I said, it's an industry that I think maybe in the past years and years ago, whatever, but now, it's changed. And I think that more females need to really do come into the industry. And I think that a lot of females are afraid and hesitant to come into the industry because it really, in the past, was always a man's world. but it's changed, and more women need to come in, and they just need to, take that chance and see something in them that, like I said to you, I've been a stay-at-home mom for a really long time. And so, I mean, I was out of the industry. I was out of the world. I was out of the work world, and, I had two guys that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I thank John, and I thank Bob, and I thank Hunt because he came, um, because they really have. I'm proud of myself. I am so proud of where I've come in that dealership. I was actually salesperson of the year last year, and I was the first female to ever win it. And I'm pretty damn proud of myself.
And see, being in the industry as a female, you still got to see, and you're fortunate to be at a dealership that your management staff and your owner seeing potential in you as a woman. But there's some dealerships out there, they won't embrace a woman coming in because they still have that mentality that a woman doesn't have what it takes, or they don't need that attitude from a woman because they think she's a mother, so she's going to expect to get off early so she can go and cook dinner for her kids and her husband, or if they're young kids, if one of them gets sick and they get a phone call, well, who do they expect? They expect the mother to go home, so they don't want that headache because they don't want to hear the men gripe. Why does she get to go home if her kid gets sick? Why can't we go home? And it's also, if she does a hell of a good job and she does everything right, she sells the cars, she makes the money, she seems to be responsible, she knows the policies and procedures. Oh no, I don't need a woman taking my position. So they get a little weary. But my personal opinion is, it's dog eat dog world, and if you're not doing your part as a manager, and I don't care if you're a male, if you're not doing your part, and if anybody, especially a woman, takes your position, it ain't because she's a woman. It's because she put in the time. She put in the effort. She done everything right that was supposed to be done. She is owning her business, which is Jill Automotive, Jill Mercedes, Jill Volvo, whatever it is. She is a person first that is doing everything right, not for only herself and her business, but the company that took the effort to bring her in, believing that she can make a difference in their dealership. She takes care of her customers. She takes care of the people that she works with. She's respectful. She loves on everybody. So if she gets a position in a management position, she has earned that right. Doesn't matter if she's female, male, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. If she or he did what the owner or management staff asked them to do, then they earn the right to become a manager. And I don't care what sex you are. So that's where they get scared because they are afraid they are going to get their position taken away. Or the me movement, got to get a female in the management position because, we don't want to be sexist and won't let them in there. But what if they earned it? What if they did everything right and they earned it? That gives them every right to become a manager.
Absolutely. I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I have some people, they're like, are you a manager here? And I'm like, no, I'm a salesperson. And they're like, man, you act like a manager. I'm like, no, I said, I take pride in what I do. I said, that is one thing that, I've always taught my kids take pride in what you do. And if you're going to do something, own it. And if you're going to do it, give it 100%. Because if you can't do any of that, then don't do it. And, regarding the dealership, I go back, they gave me an opportunity of a lifetime. It has changed my life. But, I always go to my owner. We always talk, and I'm always like, thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance. He's like, he goes, I just, he goes, you don't have to thank me. He goes, I need to thank you. And I said, no, I said, you gave me an opportunity that I didn't see in myself because I didn't have enough confidence in myself that I could do it. And I have all these guys around me that started believing in me. And I was just like, thank you guys, but I tell Hunt, I love that dealership. And I think that as a female, I just think that, you take pride in what you do, especially because as a mom, you have, the dad's there. Not that the dad's not raising kids too, but I mean, the kids are with the mom a lot. And I truly am so thankful. And I'm so proud. And I think that's another thing. You have to be proud of where you work and proud of what you sell. And that just makes a whole big difference.
And you got to be proud of who you are and what you stand for. And
I am. I haven't, I can honestly say now, because I don't tell people, that I'm salesperson of the year. I don't do that. I'm not anything like that. You know what I mean? And, but I can honestly tell you, I am very, very proud of myself and what I've accomplished in a short amount of time. And I have a lot more to accomplish. But I am very proud of myself.
well, I'm very proud of you also. You've done what I've heard, a lot of things that some people haven't been able to do. The obstacles that you went through, the belief system of your management and owner. I had to have a similar story. My manager, owner, did the exact same thing. I was a general manager of a Ford store, and this man tried to close me for 3 months to leave the Ford store as a GM and become a salesman at his dealership. And finally, he sold me to become a salesman, not knowing, he knew in 3 months he was going to promote me into management. But he needed somebody with a skill set to jump ship on the little dealership, a little Ford dealership with 14,000 people on it. And I wasn't just selling in my area. I was selling in Chicago, Illinois, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Martinez, California. I was bringing people throughout the United States to buy cars from me. And I did one little video. Here's the video part. I did one little video on how easy it was to buy a car from me at the dealership. And within a 5-minute video, I broke it down step by step how easy I was going to let it be for a customer to buy a car from me. That video got to this general manager, and he called me on the phone and asked me to come work for him. And for 3 months, hey, when can you come in and talk to me? When can you come in and talk to me? And I was like, I'm busy. I'm running the store. We had a super sale going on. That's, if you don't know what super sales are, that's when the circus salesmen come in and they rip people's heads off and tell you to put $20,000 down on a $20,000 vehicle and your payments are $500 a month for the next 60 months. So I was telling him, I'm really, really busy. I can't leave the dealership. Well, after we got done with this super sale, I was like, I need a break. I need a day off. I'm going to go to Amarillo. I'm going to go get a massage. I'll come by and say hi to you. So long story short, I said hi to him. I kept making excuses saying, I coach wrestling. My kids are in wrestling. When do they wrestle? They wrestle on Saturdays. Great. Where do they wrestle at? They mainly in Amarillo, Hereford, and all, surrounding area. Great. Go and coach wrestling. Come to work when you're done. Okay. Well, I don't have a car because I've had a demo for so many years. Well, that's fine. We'll get you a demo. Well, I make X amount of money over here, and I know you can't pay GM pay. So, thank you for your time. Well, let us look at the numbers and see what we can do. Yeah, whatever. So I left, went back to the dealership the next morning, and I'm changing prices on the internet, and I get a phone call. Hey, it's John Luciano. Yeah, I know, because I have your name saved on my phone now because you called me so many times. Hey, I got an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, whatever. Tell me, let me know what you got to say. He goes, we're going to pay you. We're going to give you a demo. Okay, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars. Hold up. Do what? I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars. Can I call you back? Called my wife, told her what the offer was, and she goes, why are you still there? Now, we made a decision. I wasn't jumping ship. And she said, why are you still there? So called him back up, said, will you give me a week to dumb myself down to be a salesman? He goes, absolutely. So
Wow.
I walked into the finance department, handed over my keys, my dealer plate, and said, I'm done. He goes, you can't leave. I said, I'm walking out the door right now. After a few tears running down his face, he said, good luck. I walked out, and a week later, I started at the Volkswagen store. And then I tried to dumb myself down. Walked up to all these salesmen, not letting them know who I was and what I did. And I was like, so how do you sell Volkswagens? This is during the whole Dieselgate scandal, where you don't want to buy TDI vehicles because of this and that and the other. So I was quizzing all these salesmen on how to sell cars because I didn't want them to know of all the knowledge that I had, because the reason I got the general manager position, because in this little bitty town, I was the number one salesman 3 years in a row. And I was the number one salesman my rookie year. And this is out of 500 salesmen in the auto group. And they had dealerships in Dallas and Oklahoma City and Nashville and Kansas City and surrounding area. And I was the number one salesman. So I didn't want to come in and people go, oh, look at this hot shot. So I was quizzing them on their knowledge. And then gradually, within 3 months later, I get promoted to the BDC manager. And then I already knew what the strengths and weaknesses were of each and every individual salesman, so then I can make them as great as I am. And to this day, I'm still teaching and educating these guys on what to say, how to say it, how to overcome objections, how to do the meet and greet, qualify, presentation, test drive, whatever. But but this man, John Luciano, and I praise him all the time, believed in me. I was scared to death to leave this dealership that I was at because I didn't know any better. I was afraid if I went to a big city, I was going to fail. And one thing I don't do is fail. But I was scared.
Yeah, you're right.
He promised me everything will be okay. 5 years later, not only did I change the BDC, I changed the finance department where they were only bringing $125,000 a month out of the finance department with a PVR of $700 to being well over $385,000 in gross.
Wow.
$1,800 to $2,000 in PVR. And I had a new finance team, so I had to train those people. So I never fail in what I do because I have so much pride, because this guy believed in me, took me from a dealership, and said, you know what, you have free reign to do whatever you do. When I started, this dealership was only selling 68 vehicles a month. We're selling 300 vehicles now, 5 years
Oh
later.
my gosh, that's amazing. And that's a cool story.
They were
That's pretty neat.
new cars. They were losing $3,000 on each car. Now
Wow.
we're making $1,500 on each car, new cars, because
Wow.
you get it. For so long we were buying customers because our sister dealership Toyota they were selling more cars than us, and every corner that you would turn on there was a Toyota everywhere. Now it has changed. Every corner you go on there's a Volkswagen stopped at a stoplight, and it was getting into everybody's heads. You didn't have to buy a customer by giving away the car. You got the customer by selling value in the car, and price didn't matter as long as they loved the car. Sell the value of the car, not the price. So now we're making
Absolutely.
the manufacturer, yes, they give us money for selling X amount of cars. They project us to sell 30 new Volkswagens a month. 30. We're selling over 115 a month. Over 600% more than what they project us. So if you hit your objective, they give you money for selling those cars. Now, I had to teach them, and the general manager knew it, and he's smart. He is a very intelligent man. It's one thing that he says it, but it's another thing that if someone else says it. So I was saying, if we stop giving away cars, we start making a profit on cars, then that money that we get from Volkswagen can help pay the utility bills, the training bills, the advertising bills, the floor plan that for inventory, we have to pay for each car on our lot. If
Right.
that money that we make from Volkswagen, we can pay all the bills, and the profit that we make from selling the cars that we've earned can make us a paycheck. And we don't have to give away all the cars, losing all this money and hoping that the Volkswagen money comes in and it pays all the bills, plus pays the salesmen on their bonuses, their commissions, and the management staff itself. And we don't have to work as hard because we're making money to pay the bills. And by and I mean, it was fighting tooth and nail, but I finally got it in their head. You don't have to give away all the cars to sell them. You can sell the same amount of cars and make the more gross, and people are going to fall in love with it. If you're selling price, you're doing it wrong. If you're selling value,
You're right.
and Tim Kent's says it the best. Volume is your job. Gross is how you do it.
You're right. I love it. And it's absolutely correct. You know, you said the exact same thing that I say too, that, very passionate at what I do. And I'm so proud to sell Mercedes and Volvo. I, yes, I'm going to tell you that they're they're best brands out there. I love them. And, but, I tell people coming into this, they're like, they'll say, like, what do you do? How do you do it? I'm like, just know your product. I mean, don't, for me, it's about, I want repeat customers. I don't want to sell one car and never see them again. I want them to have such an experience that they're going to tell their friends. And, that's what it's about for me. I want repeat customers, and I definitely have received it. I do have to tell you, I have a funny story. I have a salesman. He has been at the dealership for 27 years. He's in his late 70s. And when I started there, he was out sick. And so he came in one day and he walks over and he's like, "Are you the new kid?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Come with me." I was like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "Tell me what you know about cars." And I was like, "Well," he goes, "Tell me what you know about an engine." And I was like, "Oh God, what am I going to do?" And so he started talking to me about engines. He goes, why are you going to sell cars if you don't know anything about an engine?" I'm like, "Well, they're pretty." He's like, "What did you just say?" I go, "They're pretty." I go, "They're really, some of these features are really cool." And he's like, he laughed. He goes, "You're going to do okay." And he is like, when he's out, when he's not there or whatever, he'll call me and he'll be like, "I have somebody calling you." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "No, you'll take care of him." And to know that he is allowing me to talk to his customers that he has sold cars to for years is the coolest feeling in the whole wide world. And last week I had one of his customers and she said to me, she goes, "Jill," she goes, "I have to tell you, he is very proud of you." And I said, "He is?" She goes, "He had nothing but the nicest things to say about you." He goes, "And he was absolutely correct." And I just, wow, it was so cool to know that, I made it in his eyes. And gosh, it was so cool. I loved it. And like I said, I mean, really the biggest thing about women in this industry, more women need to be in it. And they just need to get the fear out of their heads and just do it. And
Absolutely.
they do. They just need to do it. Don't be afraid. We're always afraid. I wouldn't change the path that this life has led me. I was blessed to be a stay-at-home mom and raise four amazing kids. And by the way, I have wrestlers. My boys are also wrestlers. And but I'm so thankful of the way that the path led me. That I got to stay home with my kids, and then I went back into the workforce, and now I'm here, and my kids are older. Because I mean, I especially young moms in this industry, it is hard. If you can find a work balance, it's a good thing. But I love where this path is leading me, and my boys are proud of me. I love when my boys ask me every day, "How was my day? And did we sell a car?" And, Ron, life is good. Make what you make what you can, or you only make what you make of it. And,
Exactly.
you know, just women, get out there and don't be afraid. Take that chance and do it, because you'll be so amazed at what you're capable of and what you're able to do. And women just need to just do it. I mean, just do it. That's all I can say. Um, we've got good things, and you know, more people need, like I said, more people just need to be out there. More women need to be in the industry. We balance out the men anyway. It all works out, you know. Uh, but don't think That's my only thing. That's my only regret is that I probably should have done it earlier, but I didn't. It's okay. I'm doing it now, and I love it.
I've always
So
said, before I got into the automotive industry, I've been in it 11 years. And I've told myself, if I knew what I know now, then I probably would have skipped out on doing the entertainment stuff and went right straight into selling cars because, I mean, be completely honest, before I got into the automotive industry, I was at the rock bottom of my life. Lived in a three bedroom trailer, eating hamburger helper 5 days a week with the cheap ass hamburger that was disgusting. And I was picking up dead bodies at night, dressing them during the day, getting them ready to put in the casket. I was getting $100 to pick them up and $100 to put them in the casket and get them all dressed up. And when people stopped dying, I know this is bad. When people stopped dying, I stopped making money. And
yeah,
I was going to $1,500 a month. So I swallowed my pride because we all know our perception of car dealers are liars, cheaters, manipulators, crooks, womanizers,
yeah,
drug addicts. And I didn't want to be anything part of that.
yeah,
And to realize where I was to where I am now, I live in a 4-bedroom house with a 3-car garage, a theater room, a gym. I have a nice boat, 3 vehicles, and money saved up for retirement. And so I'm very thankful. I'm not trying to brag. I'm very thankful for what I have due to the fact because of one man, 2 men, the guy that hired me and convinced me to sell cars, but didn't train me whatsoever. He was a drug addict. And the man that I work for now that believed in me, that allows me to do what I do today, A, work at a car dealership, and B, help others in the automotive industry to pass it on, pay it forward, to help everybody else because of this one man that believed in me and took me under his wing and said, you're going to do good. You're going to be an asset in this company and in this industry. So when I went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, he sent a text message out to all the managers and said, "Hey, we're going to change our manager meeting for Tuesday because I have some things going on Monday." And everybody thumbs up. Okay, sounds good. And I said,
yeah.
"All right, that's great." And he came back and said, "Ha ha, Ron, enjoy your vacation. You deserved it." So I sent him another message outside the group and said, "Sir, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to take my family on vacation and take
Yeah.
them to Disney World, take them to Universal, and have the opportunity to spend time with these people. So because of you, I thank you."
Yep.
And he said, You deserved it. Enjoy. And I do thank him a lot. And just like you thank your managers and your owner because
I
they
do.
took you from where you're at or where you were to where you're at now. And to be a female and be the top salesman in the company, that's a great accomplishment itself. And your
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that.
customers need to know that because you didn't do it all on your own. They helped you because they put trust into you. They believed in you as their advocate on finding them the right vehicle for the right price, and you made them comfortable in the process when we all know car dealerships are worse than getting a root canal. And with you helping them, hats off to you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I just met
Thank
you.
you.
And I
Well,
mean, it's a great accomplishment. I've been there. number one in 3 years. So in each year, it was a stepping stone. Yeah. First year, sell as many cars as I can, not knowing what I was doing. Second year, sell as many cars as I can and make a little bit more money. And the third year, make all the money and sell the most cars so I could be a three-peat. I could be the Chicago Bulls of the group I was in, be a three-peat, and knowing that it was an accomplishment. And then I got bored. I was like, okay, I don't have anything to give. I'm the number one salesman in the group. What's next? And the owner goes, what's next is you're going to run the show, because I've never seen somebody do what you did in so short of time that I want you to teach everybody else what you're doing. And then I started asking questions, and some shady stuff came along, and they were being shady. And that was another reason I left, because I wasn't getting paid what I was figuring, and they wouldn't show me the numbers, but that's a long story. But
yeah,
you've done it when the odds were against you, when you thought maybe I'll just sell my cars and just go on with it. And then being known that, hey, you're top dog. You're the salesman of the year. Congratulations. And so well deserved, very happy for you. And I believe there, with your story, there's a lot of women that and I'm being completely honest, I don't have a lot of women listening to my show. And I have the stats and I keep scratching my head going, what is it, what I say? Is it what I do? But I am a supporter when it comes to females getting into this industry, because I know that they have a rhino skin. I mean, you have to deal with kids and a husband, and
yeah.
I mean, you got to have a rhino skin. Things just fall off your back. But I think that women are stronger than men when it comes to a no, getting the word no.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think that women are tough. I think that we are tough for a lot of reasons. It's an ongoing joke of at my dealership right now is that, I'm like, I'll say something and they're like, well, we don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, trust me, you're not hurting my feelings. I got 4 boys that I live with. I'm a pretty tough individual. And they're like, that's what we like about you. And so, I mean, hearing the answer no, it's okay, because you're going to hear it. It's okay. When they leave, I just hope that I have done enough that if they don't buy a car, that they will recommend somebody, to me to buy one. You know what I mean? I haven't, I remember I had a customer and we could not come to an agreement on the price. And I was like, I guess we're going to have to go our separate ways. And he goes, I'm sorry, I really want to buy a car from you. I said, well, if you want to, it's here. I said, but we stalemate with the price. And I remember the very next day, I get this big box of cookies at my dealership. And they're like, these are for you. I'm like, what the heck? Who sent me cookies? And it was this guy that he's like, he goes, I'm really sorry, we just couldn't come to an agreement on the price. He goes, but in the future, he goes, I will always remember you. He goes, these are your cookies. And it was just funny because he still reaches out to me, you know what I mean? And it's just, it's such a rewarding industry. It's so rewarding, it's different, it's fun,
I had an old man, and he was always difficult. And at first, I was professional. I was the whole, okay, sir, yes, sir, no, sir. Oh, sorry, we can't come to an agreement. And then gradually, we'll talk. We started to get to know each other, and then it was like, Alfredo, why are you being stupid? Why are you coming up with these stupid numbers? Are you here to waste my time? Or are you here to buy a car? Because I love you to death. I'll talk to you, but you are preventing me to sell cars to people if you come in here just wasting my time. Either you pull the trigger, sign the paper, or get out of here, man. And he'd sit back, he'd laugh and go, I was just waiting for this guy to come out. He goes, today's your lucky day. I'm buying 4 vehicles for my company. I'm like, get out of here.
Wow.
I ain't playing that game. Nope. Go to bed. I want those 4 trucks out there. They're all white. I want to buy them. I'm like, get out of here. Have a good day. And he's like, no, go give me the prices on all 4 of them. I said, stickers quicker because I ain't got time.
Gosh, I love that saying.
And long story short, he bought 18 vehicles off me in the time span.
Oh my God.
And I would pull pranks on him. We got at the dealership, we got a King Ranch F-150 showed up on the lot. And we had a Harley Davidson F-150 showed up on the lot. And I was being stereotypic, and I said, white dude's going to buy the Harley Davidson truck, and Hispanic guy is going to buy the King Ranch. Never fails. Well, he bought the Harley Davidson F-150 truck. So every time that truck came in, I was like, you going to trade it? Because if he traded it, I was going to buy it. Yeah. Nope, not trading it. Not trading it at all. I was like, God, man. So he was big into casinos. So he would tell me, hey, when you get to Clinton, you go to Clinton and you put $100 in money bags. He goes, I put $100 in money bags and I won $3,000. Next week I go, I put $100 in money bags. I won me $10,000. So one day my wife and I decided we were going to go to the casino, and we went to Clinton. We went to the casino. She's off playing penny slots, and I take $100 bill and I go and I put it in Mr. Moneybags. Lost my butt. Grabbed another $100, put it in Mr. Moneybags. I lost my butt. I'm mad because how am I going to tell my wife I just lost $200 in 30 seconds? So I call him on the phone, and he answers. And I said, where are you? I said, I'm just leaving Arkansas. I bought me a boat. I said, how far are you from Clinton? He goes, I'm a couple hours. Why? I said, you better get your ass over here because you owe me $200. He starts laughing. He goes, you're in Clinton and you went to Mr. Moneybags, didn't you? I said, I did. He goes, where at? He goes, did you use the one in the far left corner? I said, no, I went to the one in the far right corner. He goes, that's your mistake. You should have went to the one in the far left. I said, oh, man, you owe me $200. You better find a way to get to Clinton quick. So that was the relationship that he and I had. Long story short, that old man passed away. I spent $500 to put flowers on his grave, on his casket. And I attended his funeral. All the pranks that I ever pulled on him, all the jokes, all the funny stuff I ever did to him, he got the last laugh because at that funeral, it was a Catholic funeral and it was all in Spanish. And I had no idea what was going on. He had the last laugh. But I love that man. He was awesome. I still talk to his family today, and they still have that Harley Davidson F-150 truck.
Do they really? So that's so cool. I mean, it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, we are so much more than, we are so much more than just selling somebody a car. I mean, I've got great friends from this, and you know, so much more. I'm so proud. It's so funny. There's two things. We put obviously we put your name at the dealership card, and whenever chip on the back of that card, I get so proud. And so I always remember something like, you're part of our. We're so happy to be part of the family. And I'm like, it's such a cool feeling. I mean, just do it. If you've ever wanted to do it, just do it. Life's too short, just take a leap of faith. Believe in yourself, especially as a female. I'm sure, there are things out there that, we can't do or whatever. And that's how I thought about this industry. And wow, I mean, now I'm like, women, just get into the industry. If you have a passion, and everything will come to you about the engine, and that will all fall into place. But just be yourself, because we are needed out there. I really do believe that.
Exactly.
We are needed out there. We're needed out there. I will tell you one other funny thing. The night before I started at the dealership, I had a dream, and I remember the dream. I remember walking into the dealership, and there were two groups of people. And there was a group of people that they were going to cars, and there was another group of people, and they were going to sell cars, real estate, because maybe I wanted to sell real estate. And remember, I go over to Bob, and I said, Bob, I didn't know that you guys sold real estate. He goes, oh yeah, we do. He goes, but you're not going to be selling real estate. You're just going to be selling cars. I was like, okay. He goes, I need you to do something first. I'm like, okay. He goes, I need you to go down this hill, and I need to hold this acorn branch, and I'm going to take a picture of you. And I was like, what? He's like, just do what I'm telling you. I need you to walk down this hill, and at the bottom, you're going to hold this acorn branch, and I'm going to take your picture. So I was like, okay. So I did it. So after I'd been at the dealership for a couple of days, I got to talking to some people, and I said, I had the weirdest dream the night before I started at the dealership. And they're like, what was the dream? What was the dream? So I told them the dream. So we Googled, what does an acorn in a dream mean? And I couldn't believe it. It meant, to the fact of, seemingly small beginnings will have the biggest rewards. This is, what is it? Your life is going to change for the good, and you're going to have endless possibilities. And I just couldn't believe it. That was my dream the night before I started at that dealership.
Wow. Crazy.
Yep. Isn't it?
Wow.
So I truly do believe I'm where I'm supposed to be, especially, like I said, things have happened in my life. Wouldn't change anything. I have no regrets. But, and I'm telling all those stay-at-home moms out there that, I hadn't been in the workforce in a really long time, and I took a leap of faith and went back into it, and I was embraced. And we've got a lot to show people. We're pretty tough, these stay-at-home moms, going back into the workforce. We're pretty tough.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, Jill, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I know it's pretty late.
I agree.
And you're always welcome at my store. and you're always welcome
Thank
to
you.
be on the show. It's a great pleasure. This show is brought to you by
Thank you.
Dealer Elite, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up now. Engage with the best and brightest stars in the industry. Also, Street Volkswagen of Amarillo. They're trying to electrify America, especially Amarillo, with the new Volkswagen ID4. And Garv Automotive. You go to garvautomotive.com, and as you see here, you stroll garvautomotive.com. Here's the website. You want to log into any of my training, you just click right here on this screen. It'll take you right, well, if it wasn't so slow, take you right into the training. We got $99 a month, $9.95 a year, $4.95 for 2 years. Unlimited. We got the ultimate success training. I know it's a little bit of a budget, but you will learn finance. You will learn BDC, sales management training. That's garvautomotive.com. Log in there for all your training, and it's been a great show. It's great. You are the first female to be on the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast, so congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
No,
Thanks for everything.
It's been a pleasure having you on. If you were my mom, I'd be proud of you too. So,
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for everything. Have a good night, okay?
You too. I appreciate it. Guys, that was Jill Lara. She is phenomenal. I mean, it's incredible to hear her story. If you're ever in the Columbia, South Carolina area, make sure to go to Dick, Dyer and Associates, Mercedes and Volvo. So it depends on where your budget is. What do you want to do? What do you want to buy? Go see my girl, Jill. She'll take care of you. She's wonderful. I mean, if I didn't already have a mom, she would be my mom. Thank you again for listening to the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. Have a good night.